Look at your hands for a moment. Really look at them. Somewhere in the lines of your palm, in the shape of your jaw, in the restlessness you feel when life gets too quiet, there may be a memory that isn't yours. A memory that belonged to someone who stood on the deck of a longship 1,000 years ago, staring at a horizon they were terrified of and drawn to in equal measure. Here's the question that should unsettle you. What if the parts of your personality you've never been able to explain, the wanderlust, the refusal to back down, the strange comfort you find in storms, aren't personality at all? What if they're inheritance? Modern genetic science is uncovering something remarkable. Millions of people alive today, in Britain, Ireland, France, and far beyond Scandinavia, carry measurable Norse DNA, and most of them have no idea. Today, we're going to walk through 7 hidden signs that your family may carry Viking blood. Some are written in your genes. Some are written in your habits. All of them are written in your history. Stay until the end, because sign 7 might be the most convincing evidence of all. The Vikings were not just raiders, they were first and foremost movers. Between the 8th and 11th centuries, Norse families left the fjords of Scandinavia, not because they hated home, but because something in them could not sit still. They settled in Iceland, Greenland, Normandy, the British Isles, and pushed as far as North America 5 centuries before Columbus. Geneticists studying migration-linked behavioral markers have proposed that certain populations carry a higher prevalence of variants associated with novelty-seeking and risk-tolerance traits. Some researchers have loosely nicknamed the wanderer's genes. If you've ever felt an unexplainable pull to leave, to explore, to never quite settle even when your life looks fine on paper, you may be feeling an old current still moving through you. This isn't proof on its own, but paired with the other 6 signs, it starts to form a pattern too consistent to ignore. Ask yourself honestly, does the ocean calm you instead of frightening you? Do you feel more alive in a storm than in stillness? Norse identity was built around the sea in a way almost no other culture in history has matched. Their longships weren't just transportation, they were an extension of the body, engineered to flex with the waves rather than fight them. Descendants of coastal Norse settlements in places like the Shetland Islands, the Hebrides, and coastal Normandy still show elevated genetic markers linked to Scandinavian ancestry today. If your family history traces to any of these coastlines, the sea may not just be scenery to you. It may be memory. Now let's talk about the body itself. Certain physical traits are statistically more common in populations with Norse ancestry. Taller than average stature, broader shoulders, and lighter pigmentation, including red or fair hair and light eyes. But here's the caveat that matters. None of these traits are exclusive to Viking ancestry. Celtic, Germanic, and Baltic populations share many of the same markers, which is exactly why genetic testing, not appearance alone, is the only reliable way to trace this lineage. Where this becomes compelling is in combination. A family with fair features, a coastal or northern European origin, and a set of inherited habits we're about to cover, that's when the physical evidence starts pointing somewhere specific. Viking society rewarded calculated risk. A young Norseman's status wasn't inherited by default, it was earned through voyages, trade, and yes, raids. Boldness was survival currency. If you've noticed that your family has a pattern of entrepreneurs, adventurers, or people who make big life decisions, others call reckless decisions that, more often than not, pay off, you may be looking at an inherited risk calculus, not just a personality quirk. This is one of the harder signs to prove genetically, but historians studying Norse family sagas note the same behavioral thread across generations. Calculated boldness passed down like a family trade secret. Here's something most people don't know about Viking society. Loyalty to your chosen crew, your sworn brothers, often mattered as much as loyalty to blood family. This is where the word clan gets its teeth. Not just family by birth, but family by oath. If your family has a long tradition of tight-knit, almost fiercely loyal friend groups, people who call each other family without being related. That cultural pattern has deep Norse roots. It's a value system that outlived the language, the ships, and the raids themselves. Vikings were master craftsmen long before they were feared raiders. Their metalwork, woodworking, and shipbuilding were so advanced that some techniques weren't matched in parts of Europe for centuries. If your family has generations of tradesmen, carpenters, blacksmiths, builders, or anyone who takes deep pride in working with their hands, you're looking at a cultural inheritance that predates industrial history. This craftsmanship wasn't a job. It was identity. And identities like that tend to survive in families long after the reasons for them are forgotten. And now, the sign hiding in plain sight? Your name. Surnames ending in son like Johnson, Eriksson, or Anderson directly mirror the Old Norse patronymic system, meaning son of. Place names ending in by, Thorpe, or Toft across England mark Old Norse settlements, and families tied to those towns for generations often carry the DNA to match. This is the sign that turns a feeling into a paper trail. Culture, geography, and genetics rarely line up this cleanly, and when they do, it's not coincidence. It's inheritance. So ask yourself again the restlessness, the pull to the sea, the loyalty, the risk, the hands that build, the name you were given. Separately, they're coincidence. Together, they're a bloodline speaking to you across 1,000 years. If even 3 of these signs sounded like your family, do one thing before you leave this video. Comment the number of signs that matched right now. I read everyone. And if you want the next hidden bloodline story, because Vikings are only one thread in a much larger tapestry, subscribe to Imperial Archives and turn on notifications. Because next week we trace a bloodline even older and even stranger.